I was born in London, England, in a place called Brixton. My stepdad ended up being forced to marry my mother when he got her pregnant at the age of 17. So she wasn't really, I don't think he was really happy about the situation. So he became abusive to my mother at a very early stage in their relationship. And over the course of 6 years of their marriage, she had 3 children for him. And she lived a very miserable existence in the basement of a building where she was beaten most of the time. And I was witness to her journey in this relationship. And I can remember crying many, many times, screaming for him to stop beating my mother. And I can remember once she was 9 months pregnant and he actually dragged her off the bed by her 2 feet, grabbed her 2 legs, dragged her off the bed and started kicking her in her stomach and punching her all over the place, very viciously, for some stupid minor issue. Then I remember one winter, it was snowing outside, and I was waiting for one of them to come home, because I was left at home with the kids many times. And on this occasion, I looked through the basement window and I saw a car outside, a strange car, and I saw my mum jump out of the car, run into the apartment, grab some of her stuff quickly, and then run out again. And as she was leaving, about to jump into this strange car, I saw my stepdad pull up, and then he got into a brawl with this guy, and my mum jumped in the car and the guy jumped in the car and they drove off. And then my stepdad came into the basement and piled up some newspapers by the bedroom door and then locked us in. The next thing I know, the bedroom door is on fire. And me and my 3 brothers are in this bedroom, which is starting to get filled with smoke. So we're either going to choke to death or burn to death. So I figured out a way to open this huge window. Those British windows are pretty heavy. And I managed to open it and get my brothers out. Thank God we was in the basement, so I didn't have to throw them far. And then I got myself out and ran upstairs and told the neighbors who lived above us that the apartment underneath them was on fire. So they called the fire department. And the next thing I knew, I was separated from my brothers and living with my grandparents, who were abusive to my mom because they didn't want to see me be born. My mom had me when she was 16. So I wasn't welcomed by them into the world. So I think some of that animosity remained when they had to take responsibility of me because my mom was nowhere to be found. My 3 younger brothers, the one just under me, he went and lived with his dad who tried to kill us, and he was abused for 3 years by his dad. And then my 2 youngest brothers, they went into care, and they were reunited with my mom maybe about 6 months after the separation. I was reunited with my mother 2 years later, and my other brother, who was just under me, he didn't come until a year after me, until we were reunited in the city of Birmingham, a long way away from my mother's abusive ex-husband.